Hello everybody, Hassan here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about CRISPR Therapeutics releasing latest data along with their partnership with Vertex for CTX001. Now, before we do that, guys, please smash that like button, hit it. It's free, it's quick, it's easy. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. There's also that notification bell for our videos to get to you faster. So I really appreciate the support, guys. Our subscribers count is going really high. The latest support here from this community has been very positive. I love the feedback, so keep it coming, guys. Let's keep that momentum. So, guys, in this article here, we see that on Business Wire, Vertex and CRISPR Therapeutics present new data in 22 patients with greater than 3 months follow-up post-treatment for CRISPR gene editing therapy called CTX001. Now, we've talked about in previous video how CTX001, everything in CRISPR, in the whole technology behind Cas9, when it comes to FDA approval, everything relies on CTX001. They are the furthest ex vivo approach. Many companies in this space are basically watching this specific program very closely. CTX001 is not yet approved by the FDA, but we believe in 2022 we will have FDA approved. Again, this is just speculation. We don't have any sort of inside data, but we strongly believe this because it's been quite a few years. CTX001 has been through tests, through clinical trial, and so on. And it just doesn't make sense, guys, to wait additional 4, 5, 6 years for this to be approved when there are many people affected by sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia. There's many hundred thousands of Americans around the world. There's 300,000 annual births with one of these diseases, and this is quite important for this technology to tackle. And this is why we believe that CTX001 has an urgency to be approved by the FDA. Again, today's data, we can see here that data has been positive, right? We see this article saying that announced that new data on 22 patients. And basically what this article is stating is that all 15 patients with TDT, including 6 who have the beta 00, which is the worst case scenario when you have this disease, are transfusion free, right? And then with 7 patients with severe sickle cell disease were free of VOCs. So again, guys, transfusions or VOCs, those are expensive, right? Those are costly. They have side effects on patients. There's patients having these on a monthly basis. Again, it's not sustainable on the masses. Like, obviously you could maybe treat a few people like this, maybe you can maintain a few hundreds people, but when we talk about hundreds of thousands, it's just not scalable. It's very costly, and this is where CTX001 and other programs from other companies come in play in the CRISPR field when it comes to beta thalassemia or sickle cell disease, right? So this is the importance, guys. We want to reduce VOCs. We want to remove these transfusions, right? We want patients to be free of these diseases, and it definitely is possible for all these patients here in this program for these 2 diseases, because all patients are free of VOCs or transfusions from the moment they were infused with CTX001 in the long term, right? And we now have data to prove this, right? Data that resembles like for the next months and even years for some patients. So really bullish, guys. And then obviously here the continued progress from the momentum CTX001 validate the role CRISPR gene editing technology could have in the future of therapeutics, right? This is from Dr. Sam, the CEO of CRISPR Therapeutics. And then he says, we are excited about these results and look forward for additional long-term data, and then for larger population of patients with these 2 devastating diseases. So guys, This is really what we talked about a lot in this channel. These two diseases are affecting hundreds of thousands of people, and there's a lot of opportunities for these companies to tackle, not just on the financial side of things, but also on future diseases, right? We talked about the CAR T programs, we talked about type 1 diabetes from CRISPR Therapeutics, and there's other companies, right? There's Beam Therapeutics, Editas, there's Antilia. All these companies have their own programs to tackle. Now, obviously, everyone's focused on sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia, but that's how it should be, guys. There's so many patients that have these two diseases that it's really not possible for CRISPR Therapeutics alone to tackle them, even in the upcoming years. If they were FDA approved today, right, you need to set up commercial labs, you need to distribute it, and it's just not scalable for just one single company. And this is why you have many players. This is why we believe in this space there will be many winners, right? And again, we're just talking about these two diseases for CTX001, right? Beta thalassemia and sickle cell disease. But think about all these diseases, right? We have previous videos about endless applications. If you're curious, take a look at that video. So what I also wanted to do really is take a look at this EHA e-poster, right? And this was published yesterday. And there's these two posters here, obviously one for sickle cell disease and the other for beta thalassemia. And this is more of an e-poster that talks about those the specifics of the program, right? We talked about the patient size, we talked about the median age, the genotypes, and so on. And it's extremely important to review that data to understand what's going on. And all that is covered usually in investor presentations. We took a look at it in previous data published, but I just wanted to briefly go over it just to remind ourselves what is the beta thalassemia, what we're looking at, how many patients, and so on. So if we take a look at here, this is obviously for sickle cell disease. We take a look at here, there's patients N7 for 3 months and up, right? So we have 7 patients with over 3 months of data after CTX001 infusion. And as of 26 May 2021, we have over 40 patients with sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia dosed with CTX001, right? So this is quite interesting, guys. 40 patients with CTX001, we're starting to talk about double digits here. This is quite a significant sample size when it comes to FDA approval. And then you see the methods section here. Let's take a look. Patients aged from 12 to 35, severe sickle cell disease, history of 2 VOCs per year in the previous 2 years were eligible, right? So this is some of the data they had to extract, and then obviously this is a high level as to what is going on. The patient gets screened, and then they sort of have this central manufacturing location where this is what ex vivo is all about, right? Getting that information for the patient, and then eventually infusing CTX001 once you are able to edit through Cas9. This is what ex vivo is about. This is what CTX001 is going to do. And again, just to zoom in here, the importance of here, guys, the most important part about these manufacturing locations, this is what Dr. Sam talked about for one of his interviews, is that they have to set up these commercial labs. This is being done in around the Boston area for this company, where they're setting up these commercial labs to be able to do this, right? We're looking at, I think that number was 5,000 patients, something like that. So keep that in mind. So over here, we take a look at some of these results here. Genotype, obviously we talked about 7 patients. There's about 3 females, 4 males. The median age is 22, so again, 19 to 34 years old. And then you could see the VOCs per year, guys, 5.5 VOCs per year. Those are extremely expensive. Just think about how you have to get everything with like booking an appointment, to getting there on site, having the personnel to treat the individual, the VOC setup itself, and the infusion, and just all of that process, guys. It's extremely expensive. Again, one patient is too many, right? In hospitals, in those types of environments, right? And if there's this is the only alternative we have, right? So, and you see here some of the other data here, and in terms of safety, there have been no serious impact, right? All serious issues was related to busulfan, which is definitely required with how this is being done with CTX001, and all of them were resolved, right? So no significant issues were reported as of yet. So all data is positive. Positive data means FDA approval is more likely. That's just simple common sense here. And then you see here efficiencies here. All 7 patients have been remained free of VOCs as of this time, and this is up to 22 4 months of follow-up, guys. This is great data. This is what we want to see when we're looking at this type of data. And then you see this pre-graphs here. We've seen it in the past, and I know Tommy, CRISPR Tommy, shout out to CRISPR Tommy, a retired professor on YouTube. I highly advise you guys to follow him. He's really great when he talks about this type of data. But he talks about how he doesn't like the fact that they use like the same colors of blue, right? Why not just use a total different color, like for example, orange and blue? But it is what it is. But you can clearly see here, guys, for different sample data for different patients, as the months increase, their fetal hemoglobin percentage increases, and I believe you need over 20% to be able to overcome sickle cell disease. And that's what you're seeing here for all these patients that have been infused with CTX001. Very bullish, guys. Very great data. Nothing revolutionary here. We knew about this, but the fact that the data is still positive after all this time, to me, this it just as an investor, you just can't help to feel more bullish than you probably are when you're looking at this company, this revolutionary company. Not just CRISPR Therapeutics, but there's other company in this space. And again, there's going to be many winners in this space, guys. CRISPR Therapeutics is just one of many. And again, you want to see this type of data. You want to take a look at this because they don't have any commercial product yet, right? All you can really rely on is data. So that's why we're looking at it. So the conclusion, really high level here, you see the safety protocol CTX001 is generally consistent, right? And all patients be VOC free, a follow-up of almost 5 months, so 22.4 months. And the updated data, so basically saying this is a potential functional cure with patients with sickle cell disease. So moving on to the beta thalassemia e-poster here. And again, I highly advise you guys to look at these e-posters. I'll link them in the description below. Shout out to Haruni for giving me these e-poster links. So again, for beta thalassemia, we're looking at a patient size of 15 with a follow-up of over 3 months, right? And again, over 40 patients with sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia as of 26 May in total. And obviously the same type of high level what is being done to really treat and to infuse CTX001 for this disease. And you can see some of these genotypes. And again, the worst genotype is really we have some of the data from the worst genotype like we mentioned, but I just wanted to take a look at here the median age. Okay, 23, that's fine. So as previously reported, one patient had 4 serious issues, but they really believe this is related to busulfan, which is not something surprising. We know about this, and there's other companies trying to tackle this problem as well, but it is what it is. And so all patients, they don't really have any sort of negative issues like the Bluebird, Biogen, whatever the program was. They had one patient develop cancer. We definitely do not have that here. And then you can see here this the not just talking about the serious side effects here. And if we take a look at here this efficiency graph here, clearly you can see the hemoglobin, fetal hemoglobin, just increasing significantly, right? This is a huge increase, guys. Just look at that cyan color, just increasing after months of infusion for every single patient, right? So that's just bullish, guys. This is what you want to see. Like, look at this, guys. Look at this pancreas. Like, just look at this type of figure. You just cannot help to feel bullish about it. This is what we talked about, curing diseases. This is what we talk about, eradicating all diseases. This is what makes me extremely hopeful about the future of CRISPR and of these types of companies that can release this data. Again, it's very small size. We're looking at single digits, double digits patient size, but at the same time, guys, you gotta start somewhere. Just like how you had other companies start small in other fields unrelated to genomics or gene editing. this is the same thing, right? You don't have a commercial product. You start and pre-research, then you start in research, clinical trial, very small size and sample size. But then as you go through the months, through the years, you increase that sample size. And eventually, you can get an FDA approval. So um, if you take a look at here, all patients have stopped transfusion within 2 months of CTX001. Transfusions are extremely expensive, guys. They're extremely costly as well. Like they're just not scalable. Again, you have to think about scalability, right? When we take a look at the alternatives, it's not enough to say that we have an alternative. You got to think about the cost. You got to think about the scale of the masses, right? There's hundreds of thousands of people with just beta thalassemia, right? So how are we going to scale this, right? How are we going to make sure for future generation, for all people, all patients, existing patients and future patients, how can we cure this type of disease? And you have to think with that mentality. And the current status just doesn't allow you to cure them on a mass basis. So this is great data, guys. You can see this safety protocol of CTX001 is generally consistent. So again, nothing extremely revolutionary here. This is data that we already sort of expected, but the fact that we keep getting positive data every single quarter, to me, this is extremely bullish. I am very excited for this company. I love how Vertex, they doubled down on this partnership. They paid CRISPR Therapeutics basically $1.1 billion, 900 million upfront, and 200 million if it is FDA approved, just to get 10 additional percent in future profits for their partnership with CTX001 with CRISPR Therapeutics. To me, this is a great outlook of not just this program, but just the space in general, right? And I want to see these big pharma companies, like Vertex is just one example, right? There's other big pharma companies that I'm really looking forward to build these partnerships. And again, I had this quick conversation with another individual earlier today. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one ratio, right? I think Vertex could be building partnership not just with CRISPR Therapeutics, but with Beam Therapeutics, with Antilia. Why not, right? Let's spread it out. Like, think about open source in computer programming, right? It should be like that. It should be treated like that, right? There should be more partnerships, and it should intertwine, right? I don't think it should be a one-to-one, or I think this is just limiting. And again, we're talking about human lives, and we are running against time. There is a certain sense of urgency. There are people losing their lives, communities affected, families affected. And to me, this is definitely the technology that I am following very closely. CRISPR, Cas9, everything with gene editing, and even genomics, right? Map sequencing, all of that, right? So very bullish, guys. I really hope you guys appreciated this video. If you did, please like this video, smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so, and we'll see each other in the next video. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you.